Hello and welcome to the debut episode of Design Smoke. My name is Jeff Johnson, and I'm very proud to be sitting here with a longtime friend and colleague, Aaron Pollack.
Hey, Jeff.
Hi, Aaron. And we're here in a beautiful summer night in New York City in Manhattan with our very first episode of Design Smoke to talk a little bit about design. Aaron and I met 10 years ago, almost 10 years to the week, I think, in New Zealand. And Aaron, if you can, I'd be honored if you'd maybe just tell a little bit about yourself and tell about your background.
Well, yeah, we did meet about 10 years ago in Auckland, which is where I was born and grew up.
And reared. I think you were reared in Auckland as well.
Yeah. I spent my first 29 years of life in Auckland and came to the States in 2000. And worked at a design company called Kilter for a little bit. Left there and then started a design company with my now wife Mickey.
Right on.
And I actually spent a little bit of time at Spunk.
Yeah. Under the table.
A little bit of time at Spunk.
Closer.
Yeah, under the table. In more ways than one. And so I had a design company, So Design Co. for about 3 years, and then from there I started doing some work for Peterson Miller Hooks.
Yep.
They do all the Target stuff.
Yep.
And it moved on to there as a senior art director. I was there for the last 3 years before moving out here to New York.
And here you are now.
Yeah,
when you and I met 10 years ago,
yeah.
I think very quickly I realized that you were a pretty amazing designer and really dug doing the shit that you do, which is a really weird thing. There's a phrase that I love called design disease that my friend Haley Johnson, who's my neighbor back in Minneapolis, refers to. Oh, hi Mickey. Oh, fine. Glad you made it. Have a seat. To introduce, this is Mickey Smith, fine artist and photographer. Hello.
Wife.
Yep. and wife. Nope.
COSO.
Yeah. And the phrase design disease.
We had to get a washer fixed.
Yeah. And is it fixed right now, Mick?
No.
No, they're coming back tomorrow to replace both springs, but could I get a cigarette?
Yeah, I think Smoke Boy, Justin. I think Justin Smoke Boy will actually figure this out.
Boy to smoke boy.
in just in a hot minute.
Can you light it now, Justin?
Yeah. So when I met you 10 years ago, I think it was pretty obvious right away that you just really love design and honestly, sight unseen, you came from Auckland to live with me in Wellington. And if you had known me for 15 minutes, there's no way you would have moved in with me because I'm
animal magnetism.
Because I'm a pig and I don't wash my dishes and I don't change my sheets and it's like all these things that
I found that out way too late.
And you should things you just shouldn't do. And but anyway, we're doing a lot just beautiful work and design material.
Well, what was cool about that is the first job we collaborated on was redesigning DesignWorks' identity.
That's right.
Which
the identity of the company where we worked.
Yeah, and it was probably the biggest learning curve for me was working at DesignWorks.
Yeah,
and we're a large brand identity company in New Zealand, and that's where we met, redesigned their identity and
my experience there was what a powerful thing it is to be an American designer with a loud mouth, because I think they're just scared of you if you're you're a loudmouth American. Because
size matters.
Yeah, I think honestly size and just vocal capabilities. Because I remember you had kind of really already designed all of the rebrand stuff for DesignWorks before I showed up. I mean, it was all done. It was all done. And all I did was show up and go, yeah, it's great, yeah, it's beautiful. And then I think they just sort of cowered under the threat of me doing something to them or
well, it was a little
invading
bit more
their
than
country.
That.
Yeah,
a little bit more than that. Your stuff was pretty awesome to it. It definitely, there was some stuff was done, and then you came in, and it was this perfect overlap. And I don't know, I think it was better for it, definitely.
And I think whenever you get two people who give a shit about anything, whether it's digging a ditch or farming or making design, you'll eventually get something good. So
the universal language of design.
Yeah, which is just the give a shit. So the question I have for you, among many questions, is why did you move to the States back in 1999, or why did you come to the U.S. from New Zealand?
Because we went out to lunch that time.
Yeah, that's all that it took.
Yeah. Well, DesignWorks.
No,
was-
I'm quite serious. Like because you had a beautiful job in New Zealand, doing great work at the top of your industry. What brought you to the U.S.?
It's a very New Zealand thing to do to travel abroad and work, and I hadn't done it, and until much later than most people do it. They usually leave like college and then go over to the big OE.
And what is the big OE?
It's basically overseas experience, and it's going to work in London at a pub, and from there traveling.
But
to
your
Turkey
experience was much different than that. You actually
Yeah,
came
it's
here.
completely different.
You came here. You established yourself. You started a company, and you started doing design work for a Fortune 50 company that is quite unlike anything that had preceded it. I'm
Yeah.
talking specifically about the Target work.
Yeah.
Because I'm a big fan of the work you've done for Target,
Yeah.
as in addition to all the other stuff you've done. But what made you decide to come here and just hunker down in Minneapolis, which is far from where we are right now in New York, but very far off the radar screen?
It's because I did it when I was 29 as opposed to 19 or 20. You know, most people go overseas when they're a lot younger. I stayed and worked and...
So you wanted something
and-
different.
Yeah, and I was, I wanted to, when I traveled, I wanted to travel and work and not just be a tourist, but,
Okay.
kind
Or
of...
contribute.
Yeah, contribute and kind
I
of
re- I
just do
actually-
the day-to-day.
I think I very specifically remember when you came to Minneapolis and you interviewed with Joe Duffy, which is a buddy of mine and a guy that I have a lot of respect for. You came to Duffy and like Duffy called you out on day one, and he said something like, "So you're just going to come here and yeah."
Yeah, he thought I was going to rip him off.
Yeah, like what did he say? What did he say? 'Cause it was
he said, he
lovely.
looked through my book and he said, "So, you're going to come here, you're going to work for me for a year or two, get some experience, and then move on." And I was like, no,
Yeah.
I love the work you do. The reason I moved to Minneapolis to get back to your question was because of Duffy and Fallon and Sharon and Charles S. Anderson and all that stuff that was just so great and was making a huge global impact in the design community. I don't think most people knew where it was from, but it was like in all the design annuals.
Yeah.
So it was very influential.
Yeah, some more
And
Even to this day, I think Minneapolis is like Mars. Like when you say Minneapolis to anybody, it is like Mars.
Yeah,
It
yeah.
doesn't- They have no frame of reference.
yeah.